Hi, I'm Dr. Caroline Leaf, and welcome to the Dr. Leaf Show. Today we're going to talk about mindsets, the power of mindsets, how they can push you forward or hold you back, how you can use mindsets to help you think, learn, and succeed in school, work, and life. So, what is a mindset? A mindset is so powerful that if you have the wrong mindset, it can block your success, and you find that you're just literally thriving. You're not surviving. You're not moving forward, and there's a tremendous frustration in you. If you're experiencing that kind of frustration where you just know you should be achieving these things in your life, but you can't seem to get there, I pretty much guarantee that you've got a few mindsets that are going awry and affecting how you function. You see, when we talk about a mindset, we need for a moment just to backtrack to the word mind. Your mind is powerful. Your mind is the biggest part of you. Your mind is your non-physical part, and it's the 90 to 99% of you. And it contains so much power, because with your mind, you create every next reality. You, with your mind, if you don't use your mind properly, then you might be creating some realities in your life that you don't like. So what is a mindset? It is when you've used your mind to build a thought. And now when you build a thought, it becomes a physical reality inside your brain. And when we talk about building a thought, we're talking about building something in your brain that has physical structure with your mind, which is the non-physical part of you. And it's the biggest part of you. And this physical thing inside your brain that looks like a tree, okay, so it's in your brain, looks like a tree, is filled with information that you built into it, plus emotions. So it's a very, very powerful combination. You have these trees in your brain that you have built with your mind, and these trees are these thoughts, tree-like structures that are thoughts, and they have information and emotions. So together they are a very, very powerful, dynamic thing that you've created. The more you think about them, the bigger they grow. The information and the emotions together give flavor to that particular mindset. So a mindset is like an attitude, and it's an attitude with a flavor, and it's either a bad attitude or it's a good attitude. Now here's the good news. Our brain, physically, and our body, of which our brain and our body are comprised of about 75 to 100 trillion cells. It's a lot of cells. Our brain and our body are wired for what we call the optimism bias. So we are naturally designed, and I love telling people this, that we have good mindsets. We are wired for good, healthy mindsets, not toxic mindsets. So naturally, our natural instinct, our default mode of operation is to have healthy thoughts, which are made up of healthy information and healthy emotions. So when we talk about mindsets that go wrong, it means that somewhere in our thinking, we have built in the wrong information with the wrong emotions into our brain. And research shows us that when we build these wrong mindsets into our brain, we actually damage our brain. But when we change the mindset back to what it should be, we can heal our brain. So with our mind, we can damage our brain. With our mind, we can heal our brain. And what are we building? We're building these thoughts with information and emotions, which are our mindsets. Okay, so mindset's a very real thing. It contains tremendous power, because with your mindsets, you're going to move forward in your life or you're going to move backwards. And you sometimes do this, a lot of zigzagging, and then it's frustrating. So that's why it's so important to understand the power of mindsets. And in this book, my book, Think, Learn, Succeed, I teach you to understand what is a mindset, how does it work, and then I talk about 15 different mindsets. And there are more, but these 15 are broad enough to cover a large range to help you change how you function. You know, this book is titled Think, Learn, Succeed in School, Work, and Life. It really contains the skills of how you can think to learn to succeed in school, work, and life. And it begins with an understanding of your mindsets and the power of your mind to build mindsets and to change mindsets. So I like telling people that mindsets have power. They have a lot of power because they have the power to, as I said, propel you forward or block you. So we're naturally wired for optimism. We're naturally wired to build healthy mindsets, and we can unwire bad mindsets. Let's give some examples of mindsets. Let's talk about a few examples because it'll make it a little bit easier to understand. But before I give examples, I just want to tell you that one of the overriding philosophies of this book is to help you to understand how to succeed, to help you to understand how your mind is the tool that you use. You use your mind uses your mind to succeed, and that we need to look after our mind. So I call this mental self-care. Mental self-care, because if you don't look after your mind, then everything else will suffer, because your mind determines how well your brain and every cell of your body functions. It is through your mind that you control the health of your brain and your body, which is 75 to 100 trillion cells. It's quite a responsibility that we have with our mind. So we do need mental self-care. So the tools in this book are mental self-care and are very helpful for you to maintain this. You've also, I just want to point this out as well, you've also probably heard about mindfulness, and mindfulness is excellent. Mindfulness is a way of centering us, focusing us, calming us down, making us very aware of the moment, of how our bodily functions, how we're thinking, how we're feeling. It really helps us to get focused, and it is very effective in healing. There's a lot of mental and physical healing. There's a lot of research around mindfulness. So in this book, you will see that I talk about mindfulness, but I talk about something even more. I take you beyond mindfulness, because what the research is showing is that mindfulness is not enough. It doesn't carry over all the time as effectively as it could into schoolwork and life. So therefore, we need to go beyond mindfulness. And that is also what I teach in these skills of this book. So understanding mindsets is going beyond mindfulness. Understanding how the power of your mind works to build mindsets in the first place and to change mindsets is going beyond mindfulness. Understanding the different mindsets and what they do in your brain and your body and your life is going beyond mindfulness. Under the second part of the book, I deal with your customized thinking, the unique way that you think. I have profiles in here to help you to understand, and I'll be doing another show about that because I want to focus on mindsets today. But if you, in the meantime, if you have the book, read through that, start working through it. There's lots of there's questionnaires and all kinds of ways of helping you understand your customized thinking. And the reason you need to understand your customized thinking is because the mindsets contain the power, but when you understand your customized thinking, you'll know how to activate the power of your mindsets. So the mindsets contain the power, your customized thinking activates that power. The last part of this book, I talk about how to then use your customized thinking to activate your mindsets to build healthy memory so that you can learn and remember that information and improve your grades at school and your intelligence and school, work, life. All of these work together. So these are real mental self-care tools to help you as a person to develop. Okay, so coming back to the mindsets, we're going to take a short break now, and after this break, I'm going to come back and talk about a few of the mindsets so you can start understanding how this works in your life.
Are you tired of failing? Tired of not getting those good grades, even though you studied for hours? Tired of having all these goals and dreams, but not able to make them happen? Maybe you're just tired of failed relationships.
But the real key to success lies deep inside of all of us, and that is in our mind. If we don't get our mind right, nothing else in our life will go right.
Dr. Leaf's latest book, Think, Learn, Succeed, includes her gift profile and scientifically proven 5-step learning process to help you understand and use your unique mind to find meaningful success in school, work, and life. Order your copy today.
Welcome back. So, 15 different mindsets that I talk about in my book. As I said, there are more, but these 15 really cover a very broad range. And when you get a handle on them, I promise you your life will never be the same. Remember, a mindset is you using your mind to build a thought into your brain. You use your non-physical mind to build a structural thought into your brain, and then your mind and your brain are working together. And every time you build a thought, which is a memory, it has information and emotions. So the information and emotions collectively together form your attitude, which is essentially your mindset. Okay, so one of the first mindsets I love to teach on is the thinker mindset. So that's the thinker mindset. We have an essential skill that is essential for healthy brain functioning and healthy mind functioning, and that is the ability to think, to mind wander. The thinker mindset deals with our ability to switch off for a few moments to the external environment and switch on to the internal environment of your mind. Your internal environment of your mind, which is reflected in the networks of your brain, is always working 24/7. But what research shows is that if you can capture this incredible ability to think frequently during the course of a day, you reboot the brain. You kind of reboot all the different networks of the brain to help you to function more efficiently, to give you that cognitive flexibility, to keep you thinking deeply. Because we're designed as humans to think deeply. When we don't think deeply and we just gather pieces of the puzzle instead of building the puzzle, we actually cause damage in our brain. And it affects our ability to focus and concentrate and succeed and get good grades and be happy, and affects our relationships and our communication. I mean, this is what you're going to learn from this book. You're going to learn how to improve your grades and your work life and your relationships, communication. This is big stuff we're talking about. And I'm teaching you the power of your mind to do this in your life. Okay, so the thinker mindset's a critical mindset in bringing brain and mind health to lead you to a successful life that you know that you can live, to achieve those goals and get your potential, all that fancy stuff that we hear so much about and all this motivational talk. I am telling you what you need to do to achieve, so that you don't need to be motivated by someone else anymore, that you can actually know it's inside of you. You have this inside of you. So your thinker mindset's just amazing, because when you allow your mind just to wander, daydreaming. We thought daydreaming was bad. Daydreaming is not bad. When you find your mind wandering off for a few moments, it gives your brain a chance to reboot so that you can think more intelligently and have more clarity in the situation. Sometimes your mind wanders for a couple of seconds. Sometimes you'll find your mind wandering for 10 or 15 minutes and it's going kind of all over the place, but it's a very, very healthy function. Interesting research showed that people don't like being alone with their thoughts in this crazy, technological, busy, wonderful age that we live in. And it is a wonderful age. It's a wonderful time to be alive in history, because we have access to so much knowledge and we can so easily connect with other people. But at the same time, that technology and this connection can actually disconnect us from people and can cause damage in our brains and our lives, because we're trying to deal with too much information and get hurry sickness and all that stuff. And we don't have enough time to think. We don't have enough time to switch off to the external, or so we think. But you always have the time when you discipline your mind. So in the middle of the hasty life that you live, take time to think. Research showed that people don't even like spending 16 minutes on their own thinking. They would rather shock themselves and hurt themselves than just sit there without a telephone, or sit there without their cell phone or their computer or some kind of technology or something. Just being alone with your thoughts is so important for brain function and success. You're going to increase your success when you adopt a thinker mindset as a lifestyle. Let's talk about another one. Let's talk about the controlled thinking mindset. If you allow your mind to just randomly jump all over the place and you find yourself saying, if only I could do this, I wish I did that, we should have done this, we would have done that, and this thought's coming in and that thought's coming in, and as you're facing the challenges of daily life, which, let's face it, there's plenty of those, some days are more than others, and some days you just feel like you just can't focus and there's too much. Now you can allow yourself to get into that morass and get frustrated and just not progress forward, or you can still get frustrated, but you can do what I call freaking out in the love zone, which means that we freak out in our natural wired for love zone, which means that we control our mindset. We control our reaction. So instead of saying, oh, I can't do this, I'm so toxically stressed, I can't cope, this is so terrible, you maybe blast, get mad, say what you want to do, say, and then decide, okay, now I've done that, now I have to do this. And you bring yourself back to controlling those thoughts so that you can focus on what you have to do at that moment. As you bring that control back, as you determine to have a controlled mindset, you will allow your brain to be so much more flexible in the way that you solve the problems that you actually need to solve. And sometimes you need to stand back from the problem, and you've heard that before. You really do. A controlled thinking mindset teaches you how to control your thought life and stand back. Now, in this book, when I go through the mindsets, I explain what they are, I give you some research, I show you how it can apply in your life, how it can go wrong in your life, and I give you activation tips. So I give you some really cool activation tips to help you to activate the controlled mindset in your life, to activate the thinker mindset in your life, to activate all these different mindsets. Let me tell you about a couple of more in the moments that we have left together on this show. Okay, let's talk about the words mindset. If you are speaking toxic words, and I think probably one of the most common toxic words is I can't. Well, I can't is a decision. And if you say I can't, and you say it often enough, saying I can't is actually growing I can't in your brain. And the more you think about it, the more energy you give to I can't, the bigger it gets. And then whatever you think about the most grows. And when something grows, it gets energy. When it's got energy, it moves from your non-conscious mind, which is very powerful, operates 24/7, and that will move then into the conscious mind. When something moves from the non-conscious to the conscious mind, it's got a lot of energy, which means it has a lot of power. What is that something that moves up? It's your mindset. So when you have an I can't mindset that's grown and developed and given energy, it will move into the conscious mind, and then it will influence how you function. Now notice my fingers are in front of my face. This is kind of what a mindset will do that's toxic. If you have one of these mindsets that's incorrect, it's going to dominate how you function. So in terms of words, if you have a toxic word mindset, I can't. So every situation that comes at you is prefaced through or is perceived through I can't, if those are the words that you keep speaking. So our words are, as you've often heard the term, containers of power. Our words reflect, however, what you're thinking about. Words are not random events. They don't just pop out of your mouth, out of thin air. Whatever you say is first something that you built. Words have roots. Physically, you can't speak if you don't have a physical root in your brain. So we think, we build the thought into our brain, and then we express that thought through our mouth, through the whole function of how that transfers from our brain through to our mouth. We express that. So when you're speaking, it means you're speaking what you've already built. So your words are very, very, very clear reflections of what you've built into your brain. So we need to see what kind of words we're speaking, to see what kind of word mindsets we have built inside of our brain, because our words are reflecting these kind of mindsets. And word mindsets are kind of frames that we put things in. Words frame our world. That's a good way of thinking about it. So we build these overriding structures in our brain that are word mindsets. I can't, it always happens to me, I'm always the victim, look at me. And if that's how you view life, and I'm thinking of some of my patients who went through terrible stuff, absolutely terrible stuff, granted, terribly unfair, it should never have happened. But they developed a victim word mindset. So everything was viewed through I am the victim. So even when solutions were coming, they couldn't always see the solutions because they got so stuck in, there's another reason to be a victim. So we have to watch ourselves. I contrast that with some of my other patients who have been through equally as awful, terrible situations. And somehow they got that word framing right. They got their word framing mindset right. And instead of seeing that, and they really, honestly, I'm thinking of someone now who really has a justified reason to be a victim. It's so bad. Someone who was trafficked and raped multiple times a day. And yet that person has such a peaceful attitude about them. They have moved forward in their life. They have forgiven their perpetrators. They speak the language. They have the word framed mindset of success in their life. Let me give you another one. Let's talk about the gratitude mindset. You know, we are designed for gratitude. We are designed to be thankful for stuff. It's natural. It's part of us. It's part of humanity. When we are thankful, when we have gratitude, we change the way the brain functions. It moves into a very high level of intellectual functioning. We have very healthy neurotransmitter flow that helps us to get cognitive flexibility. We have an improvement in our immune system function. Our blood pressure drops to healthy levels. So we get fantastic physical responses. If you've got inflammation in your brain or your body, that's potential disease areas in your brain, that gets less. So the inflammation reduces. So there's a tremendous plethora of benefits from developing a gratitude mindset. So it's a deliberate choice to develop a powerful gratitude mindset that then becomes how you view situations. It doesn't mean that you put your head in the sand like an ostrich when you face challenges. It means that you see, okay, this is bad. Maybe you get mad, as I said, freak out in the love zone, but you see, okay, there's always something positive. I'm grateful that I'm alive. I'm grateful that I have whatever. There's always something to be grateful for. Grateful for the support you have. Grateful that you actually have a problem that you can solve. There's so much that you can do moving forward. A grateful mindset, and I'll say this in closing, will help you, all these mindsets, will help you to realize you can't change the past. Maybe the success that you didn't achieve, the job you didn't get, the grades you didn't get, the life you didn't get, the trauma. You can't change the past, but you can change how the process of the past plays out in your life by activating the power of your mindsets, by choosing to build healthy mindsets. I know you're going to love this book. I so recommend this book to you. I love this book. I love this content. And it's not just you that's going to benefit. There are hundreds of thousands of people around the world that have benefited from these concepts. So this is updated, pulled together with latest research added, and a new way of looking at how powerful you are. I challenge you to learn how to think to succeed. When you think and learn, you will succeed in school, work, and life. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Dr. Caroline Leaf, and if you haven't yet subscribed to my show, subscribe. You'll see the little button at the bottom, and you'll be updated with all things related to the mind and mental health.
Thanks for joining us today. Dr. Leaf's best-selling book will help you find the switch that will turn on your brain and enable you to be happier and healthier in your mind and body, more prosperous, and more intelligent. No diet will work unless you have the right mindset. In the book, Think and Eat Yourself Smart, Dr. Leaf will show you how to eat real food mindfully and develop a healthier body, brain, and spirit. Do you struggle to find your identity and purpose? The Perfect You will help solve life's questions by providing you with a blueprint for your unique mind. Detox your brain in 21 days with Dr. Leaf's best-selling online program, The 21-Day Detox. Accessible from your phone, tablet, or computer, this program will show you how your thoughts impact your spirit, soul, and body. To stay up to date on all things related to the mind and mental health, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks for watching today, and be sure to tune in next week for another great episode.